And some big pressure being applied early by Northern Ontario. Not much in the way of options, and it'll be Kelly Schaefer being asked to play a run back and see if she can make some of those yellow stones disappear. Trying to keep this on line, don't want it to overcurl. There's a run back very nicely executed by Kelly Schaefer, and it does leave Saskatchewan now sitting shot at that back four. And equally as important, leaves a red rock in front of the rings that perhaps could be used later in the end. So good outcome there for Kelly Schaefer. She had a wonderful game earlier today in that stolen victory over Ontario. The whole team started a little slow in that first end, but as the game went on, boy, they turned up the pressure and full value for that victory. As mentioned, it is Saskatchewan coming into this game with a 4-1 record, tied with Ontario, but Saskatchewan would have the head-to-head tiebreaker in Ontario. Nova Scotia, team Paul Fleming from Halifax, they're done the round robin. They finished with a 5-1 record, and as we've noted, there is a possibility of a three-way tie for first place, and it would go down to last shot draw to decide it, as the teams are 1-1 against each other. So a nice draw that comes in there again from Jackie McCormick, and now the run back will be played again by Kelly Schaefer, but this time it is her own stone that's being run in. Sean Meacham, though, taking a look here, might be thinking about a different call. Still is Saskatchewan with shot rock, so thinking about the draw, but as Sean just pointed out, there's a couple good outcomes for this run back. If it's on the nose, it's good, and if it's a little on the wide side, it's not bad either. Chris Eichert sweeping. Trying to keep this on path. Just over curls by a hair. One of those scenarios where they talk about the right way to miss, and wide of the broom would have been preferable to inside. So big chance here now for Northern Ontario. Trevor Bonneau will play his first rock. This team, as mentioned, they won the silver medal last year in Prince Albert, losing to Quebec's team Felix Asselin in the final. And they won the Canadian Mixed Championship. Trevor and Jackie played together on that 2017 team that also went on to win a silver medal at the World Mixed Championship. It's a different front end on that 2017 team, Corey Carr and Megan Carr. But Trevor and Jackie were teammates. Now the draw being played. Maybe a little bump here would be a great outcome for Northern Ontario. Swept all the way by Mike McCarville. Makes the bump. Will it bump too far, though? Just comes to a rest. So it is now Northern Ontario sitting shot, but I think now just peeks out a little bit on the side, and I think that we'll see Sean Meacham see if he can come to the face of that stone that's at the back four. You have to play this shot, but it comes with the understanding that it's going to leave Northern Ontario, Trevor Bonneau, a bit of an out because he'll be able to draw into the pocket that's going to be left by it. Sean Meacham, his first shot here in this first end. Working hard to get this by. Looks like it's got plenty of space to get by that shot. Now, how will it finish? Well, it stays on the high side of it. Now the question is, did it move that Yellowstone enough so that Saskatchewan is 1-2? I don't believe it did. These teams met, same lineups at last year's Canadian Mix in Prince Albert in the last round of round robin play. And it was Saskatchewan prevailing 8-5 over Northern Ontario, but that really didn't affect any of the standings. Northern Ontario had qualified for the semifinals by then. So here's Trevor Bonneau's last shot. Got to be careful here that he doesn't throw it too much weight, because then that would certainly potentially push red onto yellow and push the yellow out of being second shot. And there's an example of the finish. And I would have to say that Saskatchewan is shot. Now, some possibilities here, though. It seems like that rock is almost entirely exposed. I don't know that he wants to play any kind of weight at it, but if he can get to the inside of it, there's a potential here for 2. Maybe 3. I don't think 3's in play, but here comes the final shot for Sean Meacham. He's going to have to get to the inside of that stone that was just thrown by Northern Ontario to score. And that's, well, there might be a measure on that, but we'll see what Sean does with this shot. Final shot of this first end. They certainly know this path. It's been about 5 or 6 consecutive shots down this path. Chris Heikert working this to get it by. Will it get by? It will not. It will wreck. And now we'll have to wait and see. If there's going to be a measure on those two. Does not appear there will be. We'll have to see who got the point. We'll just wait a moment, and looks like it is Saskatchewan that will be down the hack ready to throw. So it'll be a 1-0 lead for Saskatchewan. Northern Ontario will have hammer when we return after this.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Here is what cowboy dreams are made of. Strong, calloused hands, open skies, the smell of leather and horses and sagebrush. It's getting off the road to explore, a chance to have a real Western experience. Hats, boots, and hard work. It's finding peace while connecting to the land and with those on the same adventure. Pull up a seat or get in the saddle in our living skies and Badlands. Saskatchewan.
Welcome back to the Swift Current Curling Club as we head into the second end of tonight's feature game between Saskatchewan and Northern Ontario, and it is Saskatchewan that gets on the scoreboard first with a single point. And we are underway in the second as TJ Heikert looks to put a guard on that stone that she just threw that is at the back of the button. TJ is a registered nurse here in town at the Cypress Regional Hospital. She's also an instructor for the practical nursing program and continuing care assistant program at the Great Plains College here in Swift Current. That rock will come into play and into that button area, and looks like Trevor Bonneau will ask Amanda Gates to play a hit. Amanda, by the way, she's just had a pretty significant career change. She now works for Compass, which is a youth mental health organization in Sudbury. She's the Youth Wellness Hub Care Coordinator, and she runs a youth wellness hub for youth ages 12 to 25, which is a really wonderful thing for her to be doing. But knowing Amanda as well as a lot of curlers do in this country, hardly surprising that she'd be devoting her life to making life better for young people. She's asked us to give a shout out to the staff at the Youth Wellness Hub for holding down the fort in her absence, and to all the youth who take advantage of that Youth Wellness Hub in Sudbury. So she makes the hit, doesn't hold the shooter, just hangs on at the back of the 12-foot, but chance here for Chris Heikert to bring one in and maybe draw one up to that stone that is for the most part buried, but considering how long that guard is, it's very accessible. It's almost like that guard doesn't exist, honestly. That's a nice shot there by Chris Heikert. As we've said, this team, the Saskatchewan team, both teams have a lot of history together. We've talked about Northern Ontario and their accomplishments in recent years, particularly Trevor and Jackie. Saskatchewan team has won a few provincial mixed titles. Last year, of course, they won in 2019 as well. And Sean Meacham and Kelly Schaefer combined to win in 2014 as well with a different front end. And of course, the very next year, Chris Heikert and TJ won a provincial mix with a different back end. So here's the shot by Mike McCarville, trying to get that high guard, remove the Saskatchewan stone, and watch out for the jam. That's exactly what happens. So that was kind of the method to the madness all along for Saskatchewan, is to hope that that back rock came into play, and it did indeed. And now here's a opportunity for Chris Heikert to play an open hit and Saskatchewan to sit 3. That rock might be over curling though. Kelly Schaefer doing a nice job hanging on to it. Will it stay in play? It will. And we'll get the roll behind that long guard. This appears to be a corner freeze attempt by Mike McCarville. That's looking pretty nice. That's a great shot, great weight by Mike McCarville. Pretty wide open. A nose hit will get the job done, and it wouldn't, even if Kelly's a little on the high side, on the broom side of that, just so long as that yellow leaves the rings, that's the priority here. Kelly Schaefer throwing her out turn, which is clockwise rotation. I have to be careful with this. Works out quite nicely. So it still is Saskatchewan sitting first and second. So Northern Ontario will change directions and ask, Trevor will ask his sister, Jackie McCormick, to play a freeze to that stone. Shot rock in the back 8. Now Trevor Bonneau is going to race out there to see if they can drag this rock in a little further, but it is going to come up well short of the rings. Just not going right here for Northern Ontario. A couple options here for Saskatchewan. They considered briefly peeling off that long guard, but instead the call is for another Saskatchewan rock in the rings and potentially buried behind that long guard. Kelly Schaefer with the draw. Trying to get that to finish a little more. Pretty good result. I think Northern Ontario can see just about edge on edge, but don't know that the double is there for Jackie McCormick, but certainly a nose hit would be a good outcome here for Northern Ontario. They got to get something going here. You just sense that it's been a bit of a frustrating grind this first end and a half. They did apply some pressure last end, but this end with last rock has not gone smoothly. Good scrub there by Mike McCarville. Just hairs by it. Boy, I didn't think that was possible to over curl and miss the double that way, but it does very nicely. Good shot by Jackie McCormick. A roll like that, that's something that can turn an end around in an awful hurry. Trying to see how much they can see of that rock. Probably about, let's say, a third from the hack for Sean Meacham. And again, this rock, this ice will allow for some movement, even with a little bit of weight. So worth taking on the risk to see if they can dig this out. Sean Meacham, his first throw here in the second end. Right away, Chris Heikert going to work. Trying to keep it off that high guard. And very nice weight control. Good line call there by Kelly, and that's a very nice shot that leaves Saskatchewan sitting a couple. Looks like Trevor Bonneau is eyeing up a double takeout here. And it could leave Northern Ontario buried behind that long guard, but as we just saw, that long guard doesn't really guard much at all because of the way this ice moves. So here is the hit and roll attempt by Trevor Bonneau. Looks like it's just going to be right on the nose. And pretty easy call here for Sean Meacham. guess he'll just put the broom down and play the hit and sit 3 and force Northern Ontario to take it single. Here's the hit. And they were trying to roll it over, but really the only option here is just the nose hit for Trevor Bonneau. Chance to tie this game. But mission accomplished for Saskatchewan to force Northern Ontario to take a single point here. Trevor Bonneau, final shot here in the second end. Mike McCarville working this. It's going to overcurl. No, it's going to be all right. Right on the nose, and it is a single point for Northern Ontario. So it's a 1-1 tie. Saskatchewan will have hammer when we come back after this.
I've been raised on the farm since day one, so I was born into it. My grandfather came in here in 1905. I want to continue the farm for him and generations to come. So
I think it's a privilege that we get to be here. It's just a wonderful way of life.
What job is there that you can go to work with your dad and brother, with your kids by your side? Doesn't get much better than that.
Everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed, has led to this. It's out of your hands now. All the gold medals in the world can't help you now. You could throw the perfect rock and still miss, but it just takes one. You leave it all out there on the ice to leave behind a legacy.
Welcome back to the Swift Current Curling Club as we are in Draw 11 action here at the 2023 Canadian Mixed Curling Championship. Quick scores update. Start in over there on sheet D. It is Manitoba up in a 3-1 lead over BC. No real implications in that game. Manitoba has finished first in Pool B. BC will be in the seeding pool, so Manitoba on its way to an unbeaten record perhaps. Sheet C, now that has implications. It is Ontario and Quebec. Quebec stealing one in the first end. The teams have been blanked. Ontario can still finish first in this pool. They need to win this game and hope Saskatchewan loses. Now again, first, second, third really isn't all that important in terms of getting over to the championship pool, other than the fact that you carry your records with you. So wins are always important, regardless of where you finish in the pool. So sheet D, Northwest Territories taking on New Brunswick. This does have implications as well in terms of the finish order in that pool. New Brunswick would move up a shade and bring Northwest Territories down a notch. Northwest Territories with just one loss so far, but both of these teams are headed to the championship pool. But again, both wanting to have as many wins as possible to carry with them into the championship pool. And in our game, it is a 1-1 tie. And we can tell you now that based on the last shot draw standings that we've received, Northern Ontario is officially out. They cannot, even if the win here, their last shot draw standings have left them out of the running to advance to the championship pool. The best they can do is finish 5th in the pool with a victory. Saskatchewan, on the other hand, can still finish 1st in the pool. If they win this game and Ontario wins, that would leave Nova Scotia, Saskatchewan, and Ontario all with 5-1 records. Saskatchewan would be ranked 1st. Those teams are 1-1 against each other. Saskatchewan would be ranked 1st based on its last shot draw, and they finished 1st in Pool A, followed by Ontario and Quebec. And Quebec has a chance to move into that championship pool as well with a victory. If they win, they are through to the championship pool. Regardless, if they lose and Saskatchewan wins, there's still a lot of ifs here. If they lose and Saskatchewan wins, they are out. PEI would finish 4th in the pool based on their head-to-head win over Quebec. Do you have all that? Well, you can check out curling.ca later tonight or early tomorrow, and you'll see the updated standings, the updated stories, and all the scenarios. It'll be right there on the Curling Canada website, as well as our scoreboard site, curling.ca/scoreboard. And there will be an updated draw posted on the Canadian Mixed Curling Championship website, which is curling.ca/2023 mixed. That's where you'll be able to find the updated draw when it's ready later tonight. So we're well underway here in the third end. It is Saskatchewan with last rock advantage. And Chris Heikert looking to see if he can move some of those yellow stones out of harm's way. Straight back, loses his own, but not a bad outcome. Those 2 Northern Ontario stones certainly behind cover. And Northern Ontario will look to put a high guard up. Mentioned Prince Edward Island. There's only one scenario that would allow them to advance. They have completed round robin play at 2-4, but had a great closing day of round robin play. They beat Quebec earlier today, and then they followed up with a win over the Yukon. So they would finish 4th in the pool if Saskatchewan wins and Ontario beats Quebec. That is the only scenario that would move them into the championship pool. Based on the records of these teams on the ice, that is the most likely scenario. Ontario with just 1 loss, Saskatchewan with just 1 loss. So they would, on paper anyways, be favored in these games, but as we all know, the game's played on ice, not on paper. Chris Heikert now, again, trying that long run back. Good shot at it here. Well, just a hair off, but still it does move the guards off that center line, which is a win for Saskatchewan. So another guard is the call here for Jackie McCormick. Jackie owns her own audiology practice in Fort Frances, Ontario, called the Frequency Hearing Center. Basically, she's involved in all things related to hearing. She tests hearing, prescribes and fits hearing aids, fixes hearing aids, and also she's the regional provider for the Ontario Infant Hearing Program, so she gets to test the hearing of babies, and I'm sure she has a lot of happy stories when she helps youngsters be able to hear better. So the guard is put up, and now Saskatchewan will change its tack a little bit. They were playing the runbacks. Now they're going to ask Kelly Schaefer to play a draw. See if she can get to that 4-foot. Chance to really get it buried here. We've told you all along, this ice, very, very conducive to these draws. In fact, is it going to over-curl? It may just do that. No, it doesn't. Oh, my. I thought it was going to rub that yellow rock all day, but no, it doesn't. And wow, buried, biting the button. And very nice throw there by Kelly Schaefer. So now Jackie McCormick will see if she can follow that. McCarville trying to keep that on line. It'll get by that top high guard. Will it get by the yellow guards in the ring? I do not think so. But boy, that leaves a tasty yellow-red combination over there on the left. They can see just about 2/3 of those rocks that are lined up at about 1 o'clock in the house. Now Kelly Schaefer a chance to play the same shot she did on her first. You should know the story about Kelly by now. Represented Scotland and Great Britain internationally and at the Olympics on a number of occasions. She was playing here in Swift Current in the 2010 World Women's Championship for Scotland. And right in this very building, this is where the patch was. This is where she met her now husband, Jared Schaefer. Then the mayor of Swift Current. Now, of course, all these years later, they are married and well established in the community. And Kelly now playing for the chance to wear a maple leaf internationally. And wouldn't that be special as the World Mixed Championship next year in Aberdeen? Very, very close to where she grew up and did most of her curling in Scotland. So now we'll see if they can take on that shot we just talked about. Those two yellow stones frozen together, they're locked right on target. Now, you can see about, half of that rock from the house. Trevor Bonneau can as see Saskatchewan sitting two, biting the button. But this has a very good opportunity should Trevor Bonneau make any kind of contact with those yellow stones. Call is it's a little tight. Will it get by the guard? Just hairs the guard. Oh, so close. I can't imagine that Saskatchewan wants to leave that shot to him again. I don't think he'd miss it twice. So you'd think that the guard would be the play here. Or bring another one in. Sometimes your best guard is third shot, but now as you'd suspect, the call will be for the guard and take that shot away. Now, the other side of that coin is Trevor Bonneau almost certainly will play that out turn, the counterclockwise rotation, and kind of follow the same path that Kelly Schaefer did to get those two rocks onto the button. You can't take away everything, but you certainly would like to change Trevor Bonneau's shot, not give him the same shot twice. Guard is the call. Chris Eichert will just try and get a little more finish on it. So, does Trevor Bonneau play the draw, or does he actually raise that red onto the yellows? No, he'll play the draw. Definitely is accessible. I saw Kelly Schaefer play this path a couple times, and it certainly finishes nicely. I don't know that Northern Ontario can get shot rock out of this, but they can certainly move that red stone back enough that two won't be an option for Saskatchewan. But boy, line is everything on this. Mike McCarville already hard at work, trying to keep the line on this. Will get by that high guard. Will it get by the yellow guard at the top 12? It does. And boy, oh boy, mission accomplished. Great throw, great scrub by Mike McCarville. That was certainly the risk that was being run by Saskatchewan, but as we said, there was no way they were going to protect everything. So the question is, how does Saskatchewan get 2? They're sitting shot. Following that same path down that Trevor Bonneau played, you run the risk of promoting that Yellowstone if you're a little tight and giving them a steal. That's not a great proposition. And now, based on that kind of ice, they believe that they can perhaps get to about 3/4 of this stone and drive it through the hole and maybe score 2. Just got to be oh so careful on the line here. You don't want to just tick it and move it a little forward and give them a steal. But of course, it is a risk-reward scenario, and Saskatchewan has decided this is worth the risk. Chris Heikert being asked to sweep, keep it straight. Once it gets by that yellow rock, that red rock, that guard, they should see if they can get it to curl a little. Now here's the risk. Will they be able to move it far enough? And yes, they do. What a sweep, what a shot by Sean Meacham. That's a great deuce for Saskatchewan. So it will be a 3-1 lead for the home team. The Saskatchewan flag is flying on the ice. It'll be Northern Ontario that will have hammer when we come back after this.
We're for agriculture, for growers, doers, whatever it takers. We're for doing things with purpose. We're for the little guy with big guy dreams. We're for agriculture. We're for you. Nutrien Ag Solutions, leading the field.
This is it. It all comes down to this rock. The hours in the gym, the weeks away from my family. This is what I've been training for. And all those voices trying to tear me down, I'm here to silence them. We've given everything we have for a chance to get everything we want.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed, more innovation.
It's gonna make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
Curling calendar is back for 2024. 18 curling athletes from 4 different nations are raising money for various charities. Support them by purchasing yours today at curlingcares.com.
We are back at the Swift Current Curling Club, and it is Saskatchewan coming off a big deuce here in the third end. They take a 3-1 lead in this big game for the home team from here at the Swift Current Curling Club as they look to potentially finish first in their pool. A reminder that they need to win this game and have Ontario, Team Scott McDonald, win their game against Quebec, and that would lock up first place for Team Saskatchewan. Just as importantly, though, another win would certainly help them. Reminder that the top four teams in Pool A play the top 4 teams in Pool B in the championship pool. Those games will get underway tomorrow afternoon, right here on Curling Canada Plus. The first draw in championship pool play will be at 12:30 Central, 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And a reminder, you can see all 4 games in the championship pool, all 4 sheets of ice being streamed here at the Swift Current Curling Club, right here on Curling Canada Plus in conjunction with our friends at Curling Stadium. Draw times tomorrow, 9 a.m. That'll be seeding pool games, 12:30 p.m. for the championship pool. Seeding games again at 4 p.m. and then championship pool games at 7:30 p.m. All the action all the time right here on Curling Canada Plus. So Northern Ontario has that corner guard, and they have one buried behind it, just biting the 12-foot. But Saskatchewan in good shape in this end already with one in the 4-foot, and a nice guard, 2 shots played by TJ Heikert. Now it's Chris Heikert trying to bring another one in there. Will they get by that guard? They do. Great sweeping by TJ Heikert and Kelly Schaefer. So Mike McCarville will be asked, I think, to play a bit of a run back here. Mike, you obviously know his wife, Krista McCarville. This time it's Mike's turn to play at a national championship with a Northern Ontario jacket on. He's a grade 11 and 12 math and biology teacher at St. Ignatius High School, and removes that center guard. Fun fact about Mike, apparently one of our producers backstage, Matt, took his grade 12 math classes for Mr. McCarville. Said he was a great teacher, so there's an endorsement for Mike McCarville's teaching skills. And his curling skills are pretty evident based on the fact that he's playing at the national championship, got a silver medal last year with this Northern Ontario team in Prince Albert. So that center guard was removed, so Chris Heikert will try and put one back in the same place, splitting that center line or so. Good spot. This is not easy ice to throw perfect guards on just because of the amount of swing in it, and Chris Heikert found a way to do it. So once again, we'll see Mike McCarville take on the run back. Just misses it. So close to the man. The gate's like, what do we got to do? That was so close. I don't need to tell you, by the way, Mike McCarville also coaches the St. Ignatius boys curling team. Go Falcons. So Kelly Schaefer now will be asked to play another guard. This sweeping tandem, Chris Heikert and TJ Heikert, both of them are former World Junior champions. Both of them won World Junior Championships in 2003. Nice guard there by Kelly Schaefer. And another run back will be attempted, this time by Jackie McCormick. Might be close here based on the on-off sweep call. Oh, what do they got to do? All they could do is laugh. And the fans are getting into it with them as well. Oh my. But now, because those so close run backs, the shooters were left well up in front of the rings. Now suddenly that area in front of the house is getting pretty clogged up. And Another guard here, looking like a guard from Kelly Schaefer. Like to just get over to that center line and close that hole. Kind of, sort of, just like that. Very nice throw. Stop me if you've heard this. I feel like there's a run back. Here we go. Jackie McCormick seems so, like, when I say a centimeter off, I don't even think it was a centimeter, half a centimeter, and she would have made that shot. So is this the time? Cannot buy a break, but not for lack of trying. They haven't missed by much. So it looks like the guard will be the call here. Sean was wondering if it was, in fact, his turn to shoot. Yes, it is, Sean. So they'll close that hole. The scary thing to hear, though, for Saskatchewan is you've got to think at some point one of those runbacks is going to be made. And they're not going to be running back red rocks. They're going to be running yellow rocks in. And you wonder if maybe they're going to try and play a long guard. That'll get the job done. It really is hard, believe it or not, to throw a shot that light, because this is such fast ice. It's hard to believe that you can throw it soft enough to get there. Nicely managed shot there by Sean Meacham. Now it's going to be a yellow rock that's being driven in. And we'll see if Trevor Bonneau has the right stuff to make this shot. They should know the ice. As we said, the margin for error here, it's only been millimeters, honestly millimeters. Now Trevor Bonneau's turn to try it out. I think that's going to be a little on the high side. Oh, there it is! Oh, great shot by Trevor Bonneau, and the sense of relief on Team Northern Ontario, pretty evident. They've got some fans there cheering as well. So now Northern Ontario sitting shot, but there is a hole. A port that Sean Meacham will try to draw through to get one buried here. Fair chance at a steal. You just know that if he gets one buried, that there will be another run back attempt by Trevor. John throwing that counterclockwise rotation, his out turn. Trying to keep it straight. Will it get through that hole? Trying to keep it on line, but no, it's going to over curl. Jackie McCormick now. Can she get this on the rings? Almost. Now. No, I don't think the split is there. But Jackie might have to take a step onto sheet B here to hold the broom. No, she's right over there at the edge. That's there's not too many easy draws here. Definitely a path that hasn't been played very often at all during this mixed championship. Certainly as wide as any team's been holding the broom. But the only alternative really is to play a raise, and that's a long raise to manage. So shot for 2 here for Northern Ontario, but certainly not a gimme shot. Just have to touch paint though, so that is curling though. And is it going to get by the guards? Sure will. Wow, that was a scary proposition. And wow, and that actually did not slow down even a tiny bit. But it will be a much-needed deuce for Northern Ontario, and proving the power of patience and stick-to-itiveness. They finally made that run back, and it got them out of the end and led to this deuce. So it'll be a tie game. Saskatchewan will have last rock advantage. The teams will take their 4th end break. We will too. We'll be back in a few moments here to the Swift Current Curling Club.
Something new and interesting is always just down the highway here. Find hidden gems grown from the ground up. Hidden gems that can surprise you at every turn. Get a taste for the beauty that thrives in a place where we are given space to grow. Get curious in our prairie life and city lights. Saskatchewan.
When you buy a lottery ticket in Saskatchewan, your money really goes a long way. More than 12,000 sport, culture, and recreation groups receive funding from Sask Lotteries every year. With Sask Lotteries, everyone wins.
The Men of Curling calendar is more than a date provider. Each edition is packed with beautiful images and tons of curling information too. Support curlers and charity by buying yours today at curlingcares.com.
We're for agriculture. For growers, doers, whatever it takers. We're for doing things with purpose. We're for the little guy with big guy dreams. We're for agriculture. We're for you. Nutrien Ag Solutions, leading the field.
Swift Current is great because everybody that we do business with, we know on some sort of personal level.
What I love about Swift Current is the vibrant arts and culture community.
I really like Swift Current. We are not a big city, but the size of the city is really good and we have everything.
Swift Current is a great sports town, great teams and great fans.
People say, good morning, hi, how are you, even though we don't know each other.
What they know about 5G.
More speed, more innovation.
It's gonna make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
I'm just throwing this up for now, but we can still do one.
Welcome back to the Swift Current Curling Club as we head into the second half of tonight's feature game between Team Northern Ontario's Trevor Bonneau's squad from Thunder Bay taking on Team Sean Meacham from right here in Swift Current, the home team, the hometown favorites. And it is a 3-3 tie. It's been a pretty entertaining first four ends. Both Saskatchewan and Northern Ontario were forced to single points in the first two ends, and then they traded deuces the next two ends. A reminder that Saskatchewan can still finish first in their pool. They need a win and an Ontario win over Quebec to finish first. That scenario would leave Nova Scotia, Saskatchewan, and Ontario all with 5-1 records, and really first, second, and third don't make an awful lot of difference in that scenario, and that the round-robin records that you carry with you into the championship pool are what matter. But that's also the only scenario that would bring Prince Edward Island's team Tyler Smith into the second portion, the championship pool. When the teams arrived at the Swift Current Curling Club, Northern Ontario had a mathematical chance to reach that championship pool, but they essentially needed to cover the button with both of their pregame draw shots in hopes Quebec had a poor performance in the draw shot, and that scenario did not pan out. So Northern Ontario is eliminated from the championship pool here, so they essentially are trying to play a little bit of a spoiler and bring Saskatchewan back to the pack. Look at those other scores and tell you about the implications of them. Over on sheet D, you see Manitoba has taken a 4-2 lead after four ends, 3-ender in the first end. Neither of these teams, nothing will change for these teams. Manitoba has locked up first in their pool, Pool B. They are unbeaten. BC will play in the seeding pool. Over on sheet C, it is Quebec and Ontario in a very, very tight game. What was a very tight game until Quebec just took a 3 to take a 4-2 lead. Quebec would advance to the championship pool with a win. Plain and simple. Their job is easiest. Win and you're in that championship pool. Sheet B, both of these teams are headed to the championship pool. Northwest Territories team Jamie Cooey has taken a 5-2 lead with that big 3 in the fourth end. And on our sheet, as we told you, it is a tie game, and it will be Saskatchewan with last rock. Just one final thought on that Quebec team. Of course, they are chasing history. Quebec has won the last 3 Canadian Mixed Curling Championships, and they did it in historic fashion because they had 3 different lineups. That's only been done once in Canadian championship history of any championship, men's, women's, mixed, seniors, juniors, only once. And that was back in the 20s when 3 different Manitoba teams won consecutive Brier titles. So this Quebec team, skipped by Pierre-Luc Morissette, has a chance to make it 4 in a row with 4 completely different teams, and that's a stunning achievement. They have to win this game, and then they'll have work to do in that championship pool. So here's Chris Heikert for Team Saskatchewan. Could make a double here. Needs to curl up a little more. Sort of like that. Let rock get off the rings. It should hang on as a biter. That's sort of notable in that it is shot rock. There's those 2 Saskatchewan stones that are biting at the top of the house, but they're being out-counted by the Northern Ontario stone. Based on the shot that is being called by Northern Ontario right now, I don't think we'll ever get a measure anyways, but chance for a double takeout here for Mike McCarville. Got that one a little out, so it will be on the nose. Saskatchewan. The call will be for Chris Heichert to play an open hit and sit 2. That has got to move if it wants to stay in the rings. Boy, that ran straight forever. Will it stay on? And it will. There's another biter. This end's been nothing but biters. We're in the midst of a big season for Saskatchewan curling. Of course, there's 3 Canadian championships being staged here in Saskatchewan this year, starting with this Canadian Mixed Championship in Swift Current. March 22nd to 29th, a reminder that the Canadian Wheelchair Championship will take place for the 2nd straight year in Moose Jaw, at the Moose Jaw Curling Center. Moose Gibson and his host committee are already doing a bang-up job getting ready to welcome Canada's best wheelchair curling teams to Moose Jaw for the 2nd straight year. Get more details at the Moose Jaw Curling Center's website. And of course, March 1st to 10th, the world's most famous national curling championship, the Montana's Brier, presented by AGI. March 1st to 10th at the Brandt Center in Regina. Ticket sales have been superb, but there's still plenty of seats left. And look for a big offer coming out early next week. That's when single draw playoff tickets will go for sale. So be sure to act quickly. You can find all the details about those, about the the Montana's Brier. Jeez, that's twice I've done that. The Montana's Brier, you can find all the details about tickets at curling.ca/tickets. That's curling.ca/tickets. So we're trying the corner freeze there. Kelly Schaefer just a little touch wide and maybe a touch heavy. And it bounces out into the open. It's a chance for Jackie McCormick to play the hit on that Saskatchewan stone that is just about all exposed. Well, she's not going to play the hit. She's actually going to freeze on top of it. Maybe even corner freeze on the inside of it. That ends up in a pretty nice spot. Looks like there's a slash double available. Just hit on the high side of that yellow stone that was just thrown by Jackie McCormick, and it may very well remove those 2 yellow Northern Ontario stones, as you see Sean Meacham getting low to check out this angle. Looks pretty close. It's a pretty good outcome. It is still a Saskatchewan sitting shot, but it is pretty exposed, and chance here for Trevor Bonneau on his first to hit it and sit 2. Trevor Bonneau getting to work on this one quick. Boy, that's going to have to be held straight. Is it going to get by that red guard? I don't believe it will. That wrecks hard. So a little bit of a miss there from Trevor Bonneau, and it does leave Saskatchewan sitting shot. Couple options here being looked at for Saskatchewan. Hard to get at that that Northern Ontario stone that is sitting second shot, just based on the stagger of the two rocks in front of it. Feeling like they're going to play a little bit of a bump on their red. Maybe a split of some sort. We'll see what Kelly, just get to the inside of it and squirt their shooter over a little further behind cover. Sean Meacham here with his first shot in this fifth end. Chris Heikert working this, trying to get it across the face. It will go across the face. It's got to make some contact here in order to get the little sideways bump. Not to make contact, will it stop? It just touches it. We're hoping to make a little more contact, but still, nice outcome as it leaves Saskatchewan sitting first and second. But there is that opportunity to kind of follow the same path and freeze one in there for Northern Ontario, and that's going to be the call for Trevor Bonneau. Northern Ontario's last shot here in this fifth end. Remember, he was a little narrow on his last shot. Doesn't appear to be on this one. Tracking a little straight now. Here it comes. And the Gates go trying to get it to curl a little. And look out. That bounced a little bit into the open, and I wonder if with a little bit of just through the wings weight, that there's a hole that could be navigated by Sean Meacham to get a 3. I think it's there. Just throw a little more weight than he threw in his first one. It looks like roughly the same broom. There's a shot at 3. Here we go, final shot in this fifth end for Sean Meacham. Chris Heikert going to work on it, trying to get it past that high guard. Now he'll lay off. Now they got to get it to curl. It's going to get by their own red stone. It will. Oh, fabulous shot, Sean Meacham. Once again, the Saskatchewan fans in here love that, and it is a big 3 for Saskatchewan, and a 6-3 lead. It will be Northern Ontario with Last Rock when we come back after this.
When you buy a lottery ticket in Saskatchewan, your money really goes a long way. More than 12,000 sport, culture, and recreation groups receive funding from Sask Lotteries every year. With Sask Lotteries, everyone wins.
Something new and interesting is always just down the highway here. Find hidden gems grown from the ground up. Hidden gems that can surprise you at every turn. Get a taste for the beauty that thrives in a place where we are given space to grow. Get curious in our prairie life and city lights. Saskatchewan.
Everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed, has led to this. It's out of your hands now. All the gold medals in the world can't help you now. You could throw the perfect rock and still miss, but it just takes one. You leave it all out there on the ice to leave behind a legacy.
Here is what cowboy dreams are made of. Strong, calloused hands, open skies, the smell of leather and horses and sagebrush. It's getting off the road to explore, a chance to have a real Western experience. Hats, boots, and hard work. It's finding peace while connecting to the land and with those on the same adventure. Pull up a seat or get in the saddle in our living skies and Badlands. Saskatchewan.
Welcome back to the Swift Current Curling Club, where we just saw Sean Meacham make a wonderful shot for 3. That vaults Saskatchewan into a 6-3 lead through 5 ends on Northern Ontario's Team Trevor Bonneau from Thunder Bay. We'll see what kind of confidence that provides the Saskatchewan team as it looks to close out the round robin with a 5-1 record, move into that championship pool with a little bit of momentum. Reminder that both of these teams were in the championship pool last year in Prince Albert. Both of these teams finished with 6-4 records after the championship pool was complete. But it was Northern Ontario that got into the playoffs based on the tiebreakers, and it was Saskatchewan that was on the outside looking in. In the preliminary round last year, Northern Ontario had a 4-2, both a 4-2 record. Saskatchewan was 3-3 and just barely scraped in. So certainly a better performance this year in Swift Current. Back-to-back years on home ice for Team Saskatchewan. And of course, the winning team here after Saturday's gold medal game will be able to book tickets to Aberdeen, Scotland for the 2024 World Mixed Curling Championship. And as we've told you, that would be a special one for Kelly Schaefer, who grew up near Aberdeen, did most of her curling when she lived in Scotland near Aberdeen. So she would have a lot of friends and family dropping by that Curl Aberdeen facility. That, by the way, will be hosting the European Curling Championships in a week or two. Good throws there. Chris Heikert throws the center guard, and it is Saskatchewan sitting first and second. Carvo will be asked to come in and jiggle those red stones up a little bit, unlock them. That's going to be a little bit light and tight, it looks like. It's going to be certainly light. And they'll provide maybe more than anything, a little bit more of a guard on their stone that's buried behind the corner. But But Saskatchewan's just going to keep lobbing him in to that middle region, just on top of the forefoot. Chris Heichert. Interesting, Chris's dad, Charlie, he's been around the curling club this week. He actually played in the 1994 Canadian Mixed Curling Championship. And one of the players in that 94 Canadian Mixed happens to be none other than Colleen Jones, who is here this week playing with Nova Scotia. It's going to be a run back attempt, and boy, Northern Ontario knows all about these run backs, as we saw them play them over and over and over again in the fourth end before they finally made it. That one looks like it'll be a little bit on the high side. It will, and it'll just, and boy, oh boy, Northern Ontario cannot buy a break. That was a miserable jam right there. Just tickled off the high guard and then jammed on their own shot stone that was buried behind a corner guard. Wow. If it weren't for bad luck, Northern Ontario would have no luck at all in this game. My goodness, tough break there for the team from Thunder Bay. So another guard attempt is the call, and it'll be a high enough guard that make the run back even tougher. And nice throw there by Kelly Schaefer. But that short guard looks to be pretty accessible. They can see just about all of it, and Jackie McCormick will be asked to see if she can move some of that those red rocks out of play. Been that kind of week, though, for Northern Ontario. One of the favorites coming in here, certainly, based on a silver medal last year, but just has not gone their way here in Swift Current. That looks like it'll be on the guard. And they'll spill their own yellow stone out the back. So it still is Saskatchewan sitting 4. The guard will be the call here for Kelly Schaefer. Mentioned Kelly's curling accomplishments. She is the Safe Places Manager for the City of Swift Current, which is an initiative that began in 2016 and is focused on creating a safe environment for children and youth, whether at home, work, or at play. Trying to leave this as high as possible. They don't want to line anything up. That should get the job done. Very nice. Now this time, Trevor will ask his sister Jackie to play the other side, the other run back. Sweep call right away. Mike McCarville trying to keep this on line. Want to hit it on the high side. It still is Saskatchewan now sitting 3, and pretty simple game plan here for Saskatchewan. Just keep throwing up guards and challenging Northern Ontario to see if they can make that run back. Sean Meacham now will throw his first rock here in the 6th end. Very nice. So Trevor Bonneau is going to see what he can line up on that short guard. Important shot here for Northern Ontario and Trevor Bonneau. Threw this very hard. Well, it does get rid of one rock and it does release that pile that was in the middle, but it still is Saskatchewan sitting 3. And oh boy, those opportunities are starting to run out for Northern Ontario, and they're going to be, ultimately, it looks like it's going to be Trevor Bonneau having to play a draw for 1. Guard is the call here. And now it is going to be the wide out turn draw for Trevor Bonneau, looking at 3. Needs a good chunk of that forefoot, bite the button. Is it going to get there? Looks like Saskatchewan will steal 1. Will they steal 2? And I believe that was good enough to cut Saskatchewan down to 1. It is indeed. So it will be Saskatchewan stealing 1 here in this 6th end. Northern Ontario will have the hammer when we come back for the 7th after this.
Here is what cowboy dreams are made of. Strong, calloused hands, open skies, the smell of leather and horses and sagebrush. It's getting off the road to explore, a chance to have a real Western experience. Hats, boots, and hard work. It's finding peace while connecting to the land and with those on the same adventure. Pull up a seat or get in the saddle in our living skies and Badlands. Saskatchewan.
When you buy a lottery ticket in Saskatchewan, your money really goes a long way. More than 12,000 sport, culture, and recreation groups receive funding from Sask Lotteries every year. With Sask Lotteries, everyone wins.
We're for agriculture, for growers, doers, whatever it takers. We're for doing things with purpose. We're for the little guy with big guy dreams. We're for agriculture. We're for you. Nutrien Ag Solutions, leading the field.
The Men of Curling calendar is more than a date provider. Each edition is packed with beautiful images and tons of curling information too. Support curlers and charity by buying yours today at curlingcares.com.
Welcome back to the Swift Current Curling Club. It is Wednesday night action at this 2023 Canadian Mixed Curling Championship, and as we get into the late stages of our game, we're going to give you a quick update on the other games on the ice. We'll start over at Sheet D, as it is Manitoba with a 4-3 lead over British Columbia. Manitoba will finish first in Pool B. BC has been dropped into the seeding pool for the remainder of the competition. Sheet C, it is Quebec playing Ontario. Big game for Quebec. If they win, they are in. And they have taken a 4-3 lead with hammer after 5 ends, and they are just playing their last rock here in the 6th. We'll just give you a description of what happens here. And it looks like it could be a steal. It is a steal of 1 for Ontario there, so it is a tie game after 6 ends. And the Northwest Territories cruising to a 6-2 lead right now over New Brunswick. Both those teams have advanced to the championship pool as well. And in our game, it is a 7-3 lead for Saskatchewan. Steal of 1 for Saskatchewan in that 6th end. And based on the results right now, well, we can't tell you because Quebec and Ontario are tied, but Saskatchewan appears to be on their way to a 5th win and a 5th consecutive win after losing their opener. And that will have them in really good shape for that championship pool, because as a reminder, the teams carry their preliminary round robin records with them into that championship pool. 4 teams from Pool A, 4 teams from Pool B. They will play each other over the next couple days. And then the top 4 teams from that championship pool will go into Saturday's semifinals. There's the hit made by Mike McCarville, but it is still Saskatchewan with shot rock behind a center guard. And that one spins right, well, I don't know if it spun on the rings. 2 corner guards up for Northern Ontario as they look to build up something here. The free guard zone no longer in effect, so rocks can be peeled, but Saskatchewan's been very, very successful in forcing the issue on offense and putting rocks into that 4-foot circle. And as successful as they've been about putting them there, Northern Ontario has been just as unsuccessful in removing them. And that's not a fair reflection on the efforts in trying to remove them. If I say they've missed shots on those runbacks by a total of 5 or 6 centimeters tonight, that might be generous. They have just been so close on so many runbacks to having good things happen, but that's kind of the story of the week here for Team Northern Ontario. And you can just see kind of those smiles on their faces as they just kind of shrug and say, what next? Hasn't been through lack of talent, lack of shot making, lack of effort. Just one of those weeks that every team has experienced. And credit, of course, to Saskatchewan because they've made just about everything that they've needed to tonight. 5 wins in a row potentially here now for Saskatchewan, and they would certainly be the hottest team going into that championship pool. That will drift over to the far side. It will certainly decide whether that biter was actually on the rings, but it still is Saskatchewan sitting 2, and Saskatchewan certainly doesn't want to have any risks here. They will remove that Northern Ontario stone. Kelly Schaefer. Right on target, as she has been an awful lot both tonight and in the earlier game today that they beat Ontario. A couple quick updates on the scores. Northwest Territories has stolen one in the 6th, so they are now in a 7-2 lead over New Brunswick. Manitoba took one in the 6th end, and now they lead British Columbia 5-3. Reminder, all the scores, all the time, standings, scores, line scores, all of it. You'll find it on curling.ca/scoreboard. That's curling.ca/scoreboard. Here's the hit and roll. Very nicely made by Jackie McCormick. So now trying to get around that high center guard. Remove that stone. You can see that finish very nicely executed by Kelly Schaefer. There'll be a little work being done here behind the scenes as these games come to a conclusion. All the updated schedule will be posted and made available on curling.ca/scoreboard, and I believe there will be an updated draw posted on the event website, which is curling.ca/2023 mixed. You can go there for the updated draw when it's ready. You'll be able to see all the championship round as well as the seeding pool matchups for the next 2 days. Another draw around that guard from Jackie McCormick, and see if she can get one frozen to those Saskatchewan stones. And boy, that's a nice throw. Though there is a little bit of a hole for that to squeak through. So that'll be the call here for Sean Meacham. Play at it from his intern side, clockwise rotation. Just has to come across the face of that Northern Ontario stone a touch. Wouldn't be the end of the world if he lost one of those stones behind the yellow stone. That position, they're more helpful to Northern Ontario than they are to Saskatchewan. Just tears by that guard. And mission accomplished. Very nice shot by Sean Meacham. And it is still Saskatchewan sitting 3. Looks like the hit and the roll is being considered here by Trevor Bonneau. Would be a pretty nice outcome. Roll off that one and roll frozen and buried. Problem is, if you sit frozen on top of that one that they were talking about, I don't know that they'd be shot rock. I mean, down 4, there's no question Northern Ontario has to take a risk or two here in order to generate their deuce. Almost a requirement, you'd think, at this stage in the game. It looks like they're just going to ignore those stones, and that probably makes the most sense. See if they can get one buried behind that center guard. Of course, the issue with that is that center guard is high enough that it's probably going to be accessible for Sean Meacham. The perfect outcome in this draw is to have this shot rock, but as high in the house as possible. Looks like they're going to play the other side. But yeah, shot rock as high as possible in the house, but still shot rock, so that the gap between the center guard and this Northern Ontario stone that Trevor Bonneau is throwing is as tight as possible. Make that come around harder. Question is, does this have the weight? Does it have the line? I feel like the answer is no on both of those. I think it's going to wreck on the guard. Yeah, just one of those nights for Trevor Bonneau. So it'll be Saskatchewan that will see if they can draw one behind that center guard. Sitting 3 with a 4-point lead. It's good to be wearing green tonight. And the Saskatchewan green I'm talking about, of course. Saskatchewan looking for their first Canadian Mixed Championship since 2015, pardon me, when Swiss Current's own Max Kirkpatrick won the Canadian Championship with Jolene Campbell playing third, and then none other than Chris Heikert and TJ Heikert playing second and lead. Sean Meacham. Final delivery here in the 7th end. Boy, that's got to curl a bunch. Will it get by that high guard? It will. Now let's watch this walk. Chris Heikert's going to really carve this in. And my goodness, great sweeping by Chris and TJ there. That is in jail. So a draw following the same path with a little more weight. Is that the shot? Hit and roll off that. See if he can play the hit and roll. That's going to be the call through that port. Hit, roll, see if he can grab a bite of that forefoot to score 1. Last shot here in the 7th end, down 7-3, needing to make something really good just to score. That might be a little narrow of the broom. I think that's not going to get by that guard, and it will be a steal of 3 for Saskatchewan. And the handshakes have been offered by Northern Ontario. Tough go of it this week in the preliminary round for Northern Ontario, but it'll be Saskatchewan that finishes round robin play at 5-1, and they'll carry some great momentum into the championship pool. 3 other games still on the ice. We remind you, you can watch any of those games right here on Curling Canada Plus. Just choose which sheet you'd like to watch. And a reminder, we'll be back on the air with featured coverage from the 2023 Canadian Mixed Championship. There will be a round of seeding pool games starting tomorrow morning. That will be just the 3 seeding pool games, and those will be available here on Curling Canada Plus. Then our commentary will resume at 12:30 p.m. with the first round of championship games, followed by games at 4 p.m. and 7:30 p.m. I'll be turning over duties to my colleague Kyle Jans for the rest of this week. It's been my pleasure to be with you.